All right, guys, in this video, we're going to talk about why the concept of purpose and passion is really stupid and how most people completely misunderstand this concept. They sit around waiting all their lives for their purpose. They're looking for their purpose. They go on YouTube and ask their favorite guru how to find their purpose and all this dumb stuff. And we're going to talk about how most guys just don't understand this concept at all and what you really need to do to find your purpose, in quotes, and then actually live a meaningful life. And this was motivated for me to make this video because in a previous video when I was talking about saving money and why that's a terrible idea, I started ranting and I basically just got into this idea of why, so many people are waiting around in shitty situations to try and find their purpose. And they're like not taking action to get out of a bad spot because they're like, I just don't know what my purpose is. I don't know what my passion is and all this shit. And I was like, guys, your life sucks. That's your purpose. You need to fix that. Stop looking for some metaphysical crap that you're going to somehow be bestowed with that's going to solve all your problems and make the world make sense to you and everything's just going to effortlessly click. It's just a stupid way to think. And so I wanted to get into this in more detail because I think this derails so many guys where they don't take action because they don't understand this concept of purpose and they think they're supposed to be waiting around for some wise old man with a long beard to come along and tell them what to do with their lives. And that's just not how it works. So I made this post in the school community. I'm going to read it and then we're going to get into a discussion around it. So I titled the post Purpose and Passion, and we're going to read it and then we're going to discuss it in more detail. There's a lot of people who spend time looking for their purpose in life and never taking action. They seem to think that they should just sit around in a shitty situation and someday God will strike them with divine inspiration and send them on this incredible journey in life. When you see it laid out like this, hopefully you see how absurd this is. But a lot of people live their lives on this premise. They sit around in jobs they don't like, that don't pay well because they haven't, quote, found their passion for something else. They don't go to the gym because they haven't found the right workout program that they like. At the core, there's a fundamental misunderstanding of human nature which drives this attitude. It is the belief that people are motivated by the pursuit of self-actualization. This idea that what motivates us in life is to do some holy pursuit that serves humanity, and once we find that thing, everything clicks into place and life all makes sense. In reality, the way it works is very much the opposite. What drives us is getting something we lack. Think about it. Imagine a world where you had everything you could possibly want. Every girl wanted you, you had unlimited money, you were in perfect health, everyone respected you respected yourself, you were spiritually connected, and you felt a sense of genuine 100% completion within yourself. Like you felt totally good, like about everything about yourself. What would you do in that reality? The answer is probably nothing. It's almost unimaginable that this world could even exist. You would probably say, I have nothing to do. I have no purpose anymore. It would be almost like if you beat a video game, and now you're just done with it. It's like, what do you do now? You know what I mean? We spend our entire lives fixated on the things we feel we are lacking. And this points us to our true purpose, getting what we lack. We feel unimportant, and so we seek status. We are hungry, and we seek food. We want sex, and so we devote our lives to being the kind of man who can get it. This makes purpose seem much more animalistic instead of divine. But remember, we share 99% of our DNA with apes. We are animals and we have animal drives. So with all that in mind, here's how you, quote, find your purpose. You look at the pains in your life and figure out how to solve them. That's it. Doesn't sound as pretty, but it's the truth. You don't get girls and this bothers you, your purpose is to attract women. You are broke, your purpose is to get rich. You felt insignificant your whole life, your purpose is to gain significance. It's actually pretty simple. Sure, there are ways of going about these things that will more naturally align with who you are. For example, you might be more inclined to finances and accounting as a path to wealth, whereas someone else might be more inclined to a creative path. You might find a wife, then that's enough for you to relieve the pain of not getting women, whereas someone else might need to sleep with hundreds of women to overcome that feeling of lack. But at the core, your purpose is to complete yourself by overcoming the things that you feel you are lacking. And once you finally extinguish that feeling of lack, you realize the thing you wanted all along was a sense of inner peace with yourself. There are monks who do this by meditating under a tree and surrendering all their desires, but for 99.9999% of us, the path to feeling of completion is through confronting the world and getting what we want from it. Then eventually you overcome these pains, move on to the next set of pains to solve. People don't like this because it's hard. It's way more fun to sit around waiting for a magical purpose to appear. But in doing so, you waste your life avoiding the purpose that is right in front of you. All the meaning in your life is going to be found in the problems that you need to solve. If you want purpose in life, confront your problems. Embrace the fact that you are a human and have human desires and that you are not holier than thou. You want to be attractive, desired, validated, high status, powerful, and abundant. Go out and gain these things for yourself, and it will develop you into the best version of yourself. Once you've done this, you will look back and realize the purpose all along was the man you became through the pursuit of these things. So, I think one of the biggest things that holds guys back in life is really just this kind of waiting around for like it all to make sense. Where you're just kind of like you think that it's not supposed to feel weird and confusing and awkward and uncomfortable and all this stuff. And so you feel like something's wrong when you try and change things in your life. Let's say that you're in a job that you don't like, you're not making much money, and you go out and you're like, I need to change this situation. You go try something, but you try it and it feels weird and you're bad at it and there's all this friction and nothing's working. And we interpret this to somehow mean that this isn't the thing for us. We'll even say stuff like, I guess it wasn't meant to be, and shit like that, that guys will say, where in reality, that's just what it's like to go on the path of personal growth. It's uncomfortable, it's ugly, it's hard, you have to get better, you're getting out of your comfort zone. And so that's actually how it feels. But we've kind of just in our culture, we've created this idea that like we are these divine beings that are like here on earth to manifest our highest potential through like, I don't know, like saving the manatees or some shit, or like every job is supposed to be this spiritually high level pursuit or something, like just this nonsense that people kind of think. And so they just wait around. And the number of guys I talk to who are like, yeah, like I just haven't found this thing that's going to click with me. They think that their career is going to just like make everything make sense for them. And like once they find it, like all of the universe is suddenly going to make sense to them. And this is just not at all how it works. The way it really works is you've got a problem in your life that needs to be solved. And you confront that problem, and it's an ugly, messy process. And in the process of confronting that problem, you have to get better. And through getting better, you develop yourself, which makes you feel better about yourself. And then you overcome the problem, and this gives you a sense of fulfillment. That is your purpose in life. Your purpose in life is you have to embrace the suck. I call it like there's a giant pile of shit in front of you that you just have to eat. This is what I tell the guys that I talk to a lot of times. I'm like, there's this giant pile of crap in front of you. You just have to eat it. No one else is going to eat it, and your life's going to suck if you don't eat it. So you just got to get through it and get to the other side. And that's what personal growth and purpose really is. And I think it's important to understand this whole concept that I laid out there where we're talking about lack. There's this kind of like spiritual trend in our culture right now on the internet amongst certain people where they think that it's bad to feel a sense of lack. Like this is somehow like therapists will talk about this kind of shit, and they'll like psychoanalyze a person and be like, he's pursuing all this success because he feels inadequate inside or something like that. And that's probably true on some level, but I would tell you that's okay. And like I think the issue here is that this diagnosis comes with the prescription, and the prescription being that like you should just be okay with yourself. Like, oh, like this guy's pursuing success because he feels inadequate, or oh, this guy wants a bunch of chicks because he never got women when he was younger or something like that. And they say that like that's a bad thing. They say it like, oh, well, he should just let that go and find peace with himself and be okay with it or something. And like I just don't think that's correct, because that if you do that, then what's the point of even being alive? Just to sit around in your bliss or something? Like, I mean, it's just like, I used to play the video game. For some of you guys probably have played this game, like back in the day, like Lego Star Wars, when I was a really like young kid. I was like 8 years old. I had it on the GameCube, and I would play Lego Star Wars. And eventually what happens as you play the game, you unlock all the characters, you beat all the levels, and they have it set up where there's like this, I guess you call it like a lobby area. It was like pre-internet gaming where like everybody was like playing with each other online, but like it was like a lobby where all the characters are kind of running around and you could like kind of goof off in the lobby and things like that, but you weren't actually making any progress. And so what would happen is you'd beat the game, and then you can go to the lobby and all the characters are there. You've unlocked literally everything. And like for, 5 minutes, it's kind of fun to fuck around in the lobby and like just fight the players and do all this kind of stuff. But like eventually you're just bored because there's no point to it. That's what life is like if you're not lacking anything. It's just like the lobby of Lego Star Wars. Or I mean, insert your favorite video game, because most games have this same kind of thing. Like, I used to play Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 as well. It was the same thing. Like you would get all of the guns and things like that and reach like the highest level. And then they had this thing called prestiging where you could like basically start over and go back through the levels, and you'd be like prestige 1, prestige 2, prestige 3, prestige 4. And you could get all the way up to like prestige level 10 with everything. Right. And so like you would get to the end, have all of the guns, have all of the stuff, and you'd immediately get bored and just start over. Because this is our nature as human beings, is we are hardwired to go out there and identify the problems in our life and solve them. That's what we do. That's what we're designed to do. That's how we built this world. That's how we came up off the plains of Africa and built the civilization that we have today, is because we looked at problems in our life and we solved them. Like problem was, we don't have fire, and so in the winter it's very cold and people are dying. Problem is, we don't have a good way of exchanging value. And so like somebody's trading a cow for like food or something like that. And so they came up with money so that you could have a more efficient way of transacting. And then it was like, somebody comes along, and now in our world today, where most people have solved their survival needs, it's things like status, right? It's like you feel this sense of lack because your neighbor has a bigger house or a better car, or your friend has a better six pack than you or something. You start feeling this sense of lack. And our culture at the core has told you that this is bad. They've told you this whole keeping up with the Joneses thing is a bad idea. They've told you that this whole like comparison game is a bad thing. And in certain doses, it is bad, right? Like you don't want to spend your whole life feeling inadequate, because you're always going to run into somebody who's better than you at something. And so if you feel this kind of inner feeling of lack compared to people, then you've got a problem on your hands. But what you do want to embrace is that feeling of there's something out there that I could have that would make my life better. That's what you want. That's the part you want to embrace. You don't want to embrace the low self-esteem that comes from comparison games, but you do want to embrace this kind of feeling of lacking something inside of you and use it to your advantage. Just like this bullshit from our fucking overly psychologized, I don't even know if that's a fucking word, but you get the idea. Like this overly diagnosed psychological culture we live in, where everybody's got a problem because they're not 100% complete in life, and like just the Buddha. Everybody's not the Buddha, and so we've got a problem on our hands. And that's not the case. Like you've got these things that you want to achieve in your life. You've got these things that would give you a sense of fulfillment in who you are as a person, and you need to just go pursue those things. And so I tell you, it's like, listen, if you don't know what to do with your life, just look around at the problems in your life, because I promise you, you've got issues. It's funny. Every guy who asks me about finding purpose, I look and I'm like, dude, like you look like shit. You're not in shape. You don't like your job. You can't afford a nice place to live. You're driving some fucking basic ass car, stuff like that. Like girls don't want you. You're a virgin, or you've slept with like one girl in your life or something like that. And I'm like, dude, like there's the pain right there. You're like a guy will be on a coaching call with me or something like that, or he'll just be talking to me and like talking about his problems. And I'm like, that's the purpose right in front of you. But it's just like, it's a lot easier to avoid these problems, act like we should just kind of justify them away as like, oh, I should be happy with myself even though my life sucks. And it's like, in doing that, you give up the purpose. So like, the game really here is like, just identify your problems and figure out how to solve those. And in doing so, you will find the meaning in your life. This is like Jordan Peterson, back before Jordan Peterson kind of like crashed out and all that. I'm gonna make another video here in just a minute, kind of going in on Jordan Peterson. But back in the day when Jordan Peterson was really rolling, one of his big things was clean your room, make your bed. And what like, it sounds really simple and pithy and all that, but like really what he was getting at here was like, The responsibility that you take for making your life better is where the meaning in your life is going to be found. And this cultural norm that we're in, where you should just accept yourself with all the bullshit about you and act like that's okay, robs you of the purpose that you would have in your life. All the meaning in your life is in the responsibility that you take. Carl Jung, the psychologist, he said that modern man doesn't see heaven because he doesn't look low enough. And what he meant by that was basically like, again, there are all these problems in front of you, but human beings are too busy looking at this like metaphysical, spiritual pursuit they want to have and like find this deep calling in life, when it's like, dude, like you can't pay your rent. That's your purpose. Pay the fucking rent. Dude, like we're going into an era of humanity where 10 or 12 people are going to own everything and everybody else is going to be an indebted slave. It's like you have this one opportunity to get out of this situation while you can and save literally your bloodline from being basically slaves. Because if you don't get out of this now, your grandkids aren't getting out of it. Okay. Like you have to put literally your bloodline on your back right now and save it, so that your children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren are not slaves with chips in their brain so that the government can control them and watch them and all this kind of shit. Like, this is on you. You can get them out of this right now, but you have to get your shit together. That's plenty of purpose right there, okay? And here's the funny thing about it too, is like when you try to take on these gigantic purposes, like you feel overwhelmed anyways. Like me just saying that right now, you're probably, let's say you're making 50K per year right now. You're not getting girls. You've got all these like basic kind of problems in your life. You're not disciplined. You don't get up at the right time each day. Me telling you that you need to go out there and fight the global cabal that runs the world and owns all the banks and is trying to enslave humanity or something like that, and telling you that's your purpose, you don't even know where the fuck to begin with that problem. So like me telling you that doesn't even help you. So this notion that you need a divine purpose, what makes you think you're even qualified to handle a divine purpose? You can't even make your bed, and you think you can like solve the world's problems, or you're going to have some grand purpose. It's like, let's start with step one here, which is like not jacking off every day. How about that? How about we start with, paying your rent on time? How about we start with, an investment account, or I don't know, not eating donuts, or like not being an incel, or not having a 9-hour screen time every day on your phone? How about we start with these things before we start tackling global problems or trying to go build some sort of thing that's going to change the world and give you this sense of spiritual meaning, so you'd go down like fucking Gandhi in our history books or some shit. Like, you're not on that level. Like, there's levels to this shit. I'm not on that level. I have no fucking idea how to change the world. Like, I have to like humble myself on this shit too. I'm like, the best thing I can do right now is I try and take my income from like 120,000 a year to 240,000 a year. I can probably figure that one out. That's the challenge right in front of me that I can handle. I can't handle how the heck I'm gonna like start my own bank and buy a media company or something like that. I have no idea how to do this. I have no idea how to be the president. You get what I'm saying? Like, there's levels to this shit. And what you have to do is just tackle the little pains in your life right now, the little issues, the little places that you know you could get better. Solve those things right now, and progressively you start unlocking new things that you can solve, new problems you can handle, new challenges that you can take on, that you're capable then of taking on. But right now you have to just stop with this whole looking for this purpose that makes everything click. You need to understand that everything's going to be messy. Everything you try to do is going to be hard. You got to form new habits. You got to break thought patterns. You got to get out there and do uncomfortable things and just develop yourself and just like set a new standard for you. It's all going to be messy. And in doing so and handling these things, you will get better and feel better about yourself. And you will start to figure out what the point of your life is. Start taking responsibility for things, and you won't be struggling with purpose and passion anymore. Okay. So like, I made this video. I don't want to hear another person talking to me. Next person, like seriously, if we get a question about somebody asking me about finding their purpose or passion or that kind of shit, if I get that question again, I might just make a whole video just roasting that person. Seriously, like, we're just going to trash them. Like, I'm tired of hearing this question, guys. It's just like the most idiotic thing. Okay. Your life sucks. Fix it. Right. If you're not a multi-millionaire who can get girls whenever he wants, or has the world's perfect marriage and has these kids that just love him, or like whatever it is, and your health is just dialed in. If you're not that guy, I don't want to hear about like higher purposes. Like, you've got shit to work on, okay? Humble yourself. Drop this ego like you're capable of some big purpose. Like, you're not even capable of fucking changing your own oil, okay? Like, let's start with the basics, guys, and then we can move on to bigger problems to solve. All right. And I'm telling you this too, because like we need more guys to level up. Like, you're not any use to anybody if you're totally incompetent. Okay. Like, that's another part of purpose, right? If you want to like we're not going to do big things in life on our own. We need a lot of competent people who have money and have their shit together, so we can start to cause big changes in the world, so we can start to go after bigger problems and do more purposeful things and passion projects and all this kind of stuff. You need to have handled the basics before you can even get to that level, okay? So I think I'm gonna cut it right there, guys, before I just keep on ranting. You get the idea. Just take responsibility for the bullshit right in front of you. Fix that. That's your purpose in life, and suddenly you'll stop with these existential crises. I'll talk to you guys in the next video.